Hello everyone, excuse me, Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today we are going to do the tarot scope for the sign of Capricorn. So how are our Cappies doing in the month of August? Astrologically, of course, Capricorn, as far as what's in Capricorn at this time, we have, of course, Pluto in Capricorn, as we have had since 2008. And boy, has that been a ride. You know, Pluto in Capricorn has brought up all the issues for Capricorn, all the things that Capricorn symbolizes, going through a transformational process. And certainly as a Capricorn rising or a moon in Capricorn, you've certainly experienced much change and shifting since 2008. Now, let me just take a look at the month of August here in front of me. Make sure I'm in the right month. And what's going on in Capricorn, if there's anything significant happening. Besides the fact, of course, that the moon will be in Capricorn. In August, the moon is in Capricorn from the 18th to, looks like the 18th to the 19th. Oh, to the 20th. Yeah. The 18th and 19th and half of the 20th. And then, of course, Pluto is in Capricorn. And of those days, the moon makes a conjunction to Pluto on the 19th. That's the same day, incidentally, that Uranus stations retrograde, which is always a powerful time anyway. And let me just see if there's anything happening to Pluto, because it is in Taurus. That is significant for this month. Mercury makes a trine to Taurus. Mercury makes a trine to Pluto in Capricorn on the 26th. So messages coming in for you, Capricorn, and there may be something else. Okay, nope, okay. Sorry guys, I should have looked at this before I started. Oh, that looks like it. Okay, so not particularly. There's a hummingbird outside my window. Capricorn, for you guys, to remind you to stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. So I am using the Wildwood Tarot for Capricorn. I like to use the Earth-centered tarot decks for the Earth signs. You may have noticed that about me. So let's see what's up for Capricorn. This is the tarot scope for Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, Capricorn Ascendant. If you have any Capricorn in your chart, I do. We all do, somewhere in our chart. It's really, you know, I find these readings, although it will take you a long time, and I'm sure you have a lot to do, if you have like a stellium in Capricorn, or if you have a lot of planets in your 10th house, they might not be in Capricorn, but they're in Capricorn's house. Maybe the Capricorn reading can also be of value to you. All right, let's see what's up for Capricorn. So we have the Two of Arrows here. This card calls it Injustice. I'm not really sure about the name of this. It doesn't feel like injustice to me, but it does feel like you're at a crossroads of some sort, that you are at a balancing point, or that you have attained some sort of balance at this time. Let's see what's challenging that. The Page of Bows. The Page of Bows. So this is the Page of Swords again. So far, I've done Taurus and Virgo, and the Page of Swords has come up in all of them. This is a stoat, which is in the weasel family. And so this is somebody that's sneaky, that maybe you can't trust. Or not so much, it can be that, but it can also be somebody who, the fly in the ointment. You've come to this place of balance that you've, really tried very, very diligently to find balance in a very unbalanced time. And then somebody comes along and says, oh yeah, and tickles you and the balance is off, right? Or pokes you or does something to upset the balance of things. At the root is your happiness. At the root is your happiness. This overflowing energy of love and abundance. So that's at the root of this reading. Let's see what else comes up for this reading. In the past, we have the Nine of Bows. In this deck is called Respect. We can see this sort of berserker-looking character. He's sort of a shaman and a warrior, and he has all his sticks behind him. This is somebody who's been on the ready and gone through many a battle and is, still there. That dogged, climb every mountain. That is very much part of the Capricorn energy. We get the Six of Stones here. Now this is interesting in this deck. This is the Six of Pentacles, right? So, but in this deck, which is usually, fair distribution of resources, etc., etc. But here this is a very different picture. Hold on, let me see if I can get it close so you can actually see it. I'm sorry about my camera work. I want to have you see this as best you can. So, oh damn, sorry guys. Let's see if I can go real slow. I don't know why this is doing this. I guess that's about as good as we're going to get. But you see in the background there's something is being burned away. This is like society, like the structure of society is being decimated by fires, things out of our control. There's a certain amount of out of controlledness that comes along with this card. We have some bees here, beehives that have been destroyed. And the people want a handout. So in that respect, I guess this is the Six of Pentacle energy. There's a lot of need out there. And Capricorn is a very generally responsible sign. And so we can be overcome when you have Capricorn heavy in your chart or Capricorn placements. I have Saturn in Capricorn, so that's as heavy as it gets, really. When it comes to planets, Saturn is one of the heaviest in Capricorn. The metal associated with Capricorn is lead, and I have Saturn in the sign of lead, right? So there's this like responsible. And you see the need. You see people have the need. And because you're responsible, you're going to want to help them. You're going to want to solve the problems, right? But at the root, we have happiness. Now, fair to say that being responsible is kind of Capricorn's happy place. So they're not mutually exclusive here. Let's see what's in the immediate future. The Green Man. The Green Man. And so this is very interesting. This is the Emperor card, but in this deck it's much more connected to nature. And so I feel as though with Capricorn there's this feeling of responsibility, right? I mean, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the Lord of Karma. As you sow, so shall you reap, right? So Capricorns take on more responsibility generally than other signs, and they feel more responsible. But Capricorn is an earth sign, first of all, as you know, because you know yourself. But it's also the power of the earth, and to be able to connect to that power and connect to nature. And that's really what this Four of Pentacles is asking. I mean, this Four, not of Pentacles, this Green Man card is asking you to do. Connect with the magic of nature. That is where your power lies. If you want to help people who are in bad situations because the structures of their society is breaking down, bees are associated with community. And there's people are getting burned out of their communities. They're getting flooded out of their communities. This is the earth changes going on. So you as a Capricorn is like, what can I do to help? I have to be in charge? I'm responsible, blah, blah, blah. Well, don't forget to connect with nature. And don't forget that at the core of it is to be happy. Excuse me. How it's seen from outside the tower. We're getting a lot of tower cards. I think did I get a tower card for Taurus? Maybe not. This really is a calling for you to find your authentic place, to get out of the top of the tree, in a way. This is about enlightening. This is a giant oak tree getting struck by lightning. New ideas, new realizations. See domestic situation. The Ten of Stones, the Ten of Pentacles again in these readings for the earth signs. So this card says to me that you are strong, that your family is strong, that you are strong in your community. You are there is stability. It's as if a lot of what you're seeing in the outer world isn't necessarily touching you personally. Hopes and fears, the King of Stones. This is the King of Pentacles. Wolf, right? The wolf, the lone wolf. So this is the King of Earth. And so the King of Earth is somebody who has dominion over the earth, understands the earth. It is a wolf. This is the lone wolf here. The wolf is a teacher vibration. The wolf teaches us leadership, teaches us how to have our voice heard in the darkest of times, right? In the middle of the night. You can hear the howling wolves. They communicate with each other in that way. Again, how are you connected to nature? And the outcome is the moon. So the moon is a card that connects us to, it's really, the moon in its way is a challenge of duality. It's the challenge of wanting to be of the earth and yet remember. It's a balance between the logical and the illogical in its way, sanity and insanity. There can be illusion and delusion with the moon, and yet it can be very inspiring. In the Tree of Life, the moon card is associated with Pisces, which can be confusion, located between Netzach and Malkuth. Netzach is victory, Malkuth is the kingdom, Netzach is Venus, Malkuth is the earth. So it has to do with values, but it's also the path of all of these earth changes, that in the tree of life, that's the path that gets activated, that brings the forces of nature to earth to transform and transmute. So there's that energy. Higher on the tree, the moon itself is associated with the High Priestess card, which is one of the highest levels. It runs down the center of the tree. It connects our crown, our connection to God, with our heart, right? Which is the core of everything. Everything sort of emanates out of the heart. So there is this need to almost straddle both worlds. The world of what we see with our very eyes and what people are experiencing with their very eyes, and also another place of being connected to a spiritual source. And I think what these cards are indicating is that you need to connect to your own spiritual source. We have the Ace of Cups underneath here. So this is the this is the Ace of Cups underneath it all. This was, underneath the reading. So there's this need for love and unconditional love for self as well as for others. We have the Queen of Arrows here, which is the Queen of Swords in this deck. She is somebody who is wise through her own experience. She is wise through her own suffering. She moves with the flow, as all queens do, right? All the queens in the tarot are associated with the element of water, even the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords. And of course the Queen of Cups, because she's the cup, but they're all associated with the element of water, the creative force of water. And then lastly we have the Stag, which is the 8 here, which is the Strength card. So what I see here in this reading is that you need to make sure that your own structure, your own home is stable, that you are happy in what you're doing, because it's from that place of strength that you can help others. That's when you'll be able to help others, when you find your place of strength. And the place of strength is not a mind thing, it's a physical thing. So make sure your finances are in order as best you can. Make sure that you're connected to nature. Make sure that you don't offer help unless you can actually give the help that you want to offer, because you know how responsible you are. But you're also practical. So chances are you'll take on the responsibility when you're ready. But there is a certain amount of sort of straddling the sane and the insane to a certain extent. So it's not going to be a cakewalk or anything. Is it ever? All right, let's do an oracle reading next. Okay, so we're going to use the Mystical Shaman Oracle, okay, by Alberto Villoldo, Colette Baron-Reid, and Marcella Lobos. Maybe Marcella? I don't know how she says it. Lobos means wolf, interestingly enough. Okay. All right, let's see. 3 cards. We're going to pick 3 oracle cards for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, and any other Capricorn you might have in your chart. Also look to the 10th house if you have a lot of planets in the 10th house. If you have your North Node or your South Node in the 10th house, if you have Pluto in the 10th house or the polarity point of Pluto in the 10th house, all helpful to look at this reading. All right. Oh, Jesus. I got to get a bigger table. I constantly drop stuff. First card is the Sacrifice, which is 44 in this deck. The second card is the Upper World. And the third card is the Rainbow. I don't even know if I've ever gotten this card before. The Rainbow. So, first card is Sacrifice. This is a card that Capricorn probably is very familiar with. Being responsible, or sometimes the most responsible of signs, sometimes we have to sacrifice our own gratification. So Capricorn is very much about delayed gratification. At least certainly that's been my experience with Capricorn, as having a Saturn in Capricorn. You have to work really, really hard to get to a point where then the things start to flow towards you. Then the things, oftentimes Capricorns are considered that they sort of are born old and they get younger as they get older, because they are born with all these burdens that they hold onto themselves. So perhaps the Sacrifice card is asking you to sacrifice some of those burdens that you hold, or that the sacrifice needs to be a sacrifice worth making. You have to be prepared to sacrifice, right? And then decide whether the sacrifice is worth it or not. So there's that. Then we have the Upper World, which deals with our connection to just that, the upper worlds, the more sort of esoteric, occult energy, more sort of metaphysical than physical, which of course Capricorn can do, because Capricorn is the sign of the Redeemer. Capricorn sits at the top of an astrological chart when we're looking at starting at Aries, which is the tropical zodiac. We have Capricorn at that place of 3/4 around the circle, having the highest perspective and closest to heaven. And Capricorn is symbolized by the sea goat, right? So it's goat on the top and fish on the bottom, and that is representative of somebody who has plunged the depths. Say that. That's a hard word to say. And then has risen to the top, right, of the mountain. I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the future. That's all very Capricorn. And so there's this connection to that energy, not just the very grounded energy that Capricorn is known for, but also the higher vibrational vibrations of Capricorn. So Capricorn, for those of you Capricorns who work in the metaphysical disciplines, this is a very auspicious time. The rainbow speaks of working from all our chakras. The rainbow is the rainbow bridge that connects spirit to earth. This is what this reading is talking about. It's about you being the bridge. You being the bridge between earth and spirit. And really the sacrifices in your life that you've taken or had to do or felt impelled to do to get you to this point. So this is really a time of, in its way, celebration. Celebration. You know, you've done your due diligence. You're strong. You've been through it. And you understand on a very deep level that responsibility to others starts with a responsibility to self and fostering your own happiness. And showing people the way to how to plumb the depths, and rise to the top. So, generally, you know, I mean, a good reading for Capricorn. You guys are going to be okay in August, for sure. But not because it's luck, because you make your own luck, people, right? You do the work. And all that work you were slogging all that time, and Pluto's going through your sign, and you're like, oh. And then, yes, last year when everything was in Capricorn, and you're like, oh. You're on the other side of that now. You're on the other side of that. And you're really on your spiritual path, Capricorn. So know that in your heart to be true. You are exactly where you need to be, and you are going to be a force for good like nobody's business. Remember, the kids coming in now will have Pluto and Capricorn, and they're going to be successful like nobody's business either. Okay, guys, have yourself a great day. Like and subscribe, and I will see you again next month for September's Taroscope for Capricorn. Much love. Namaste.